Donavan, great to see you.
Likewise.
I really enjoyed watching you win your gold medal in 2019. And it was the move you made, I think, surprised people because you went earlier than you'd done before.
A little early, yeah.
And I remember talking to Pete about it a little bit, your coach. How did you guys plan that out? Was it kind of the spirit of the event, or how do you go about something like that?
Yeah, so that race was running my head hundreds of times before, it played out, even though we only had a couple days in between each round. And Pete said the game plan, once we knew that Wesley Vasquez from Puerto Rico made the final, he's like, he's going to take it out. He's a very predictive runner. He's a very gutsy runner, and I'm very respectful of that he does that. But we're going to try to use it to our advantage as much as we can. So he said, just stick on him. He's like, I don't care if it's 49, 48, or 53. You need to be right on his shoulder no matter what it is. So that was just 100% the game plan. I wasn't really going to, go off of that strategy going into it. And as soon as that 300 hit, just like we practiced so many times, I just tried to open up my stride as much as I can. And yeah, it might have been a little early, for time-wise, but as far as place-wise, I feel like that was probably the safest point in time to do so.
Your acceleration between the 500 and the 600 really was amazing, and it was electrifying in the stadium. Did you know that you were building the lead? Could you tell? Did you have any idea what was going on behind you?
I could. I don't remember if there was a video score on that backside of the track. I
can't recall.
I can't recall it, but I remember looking on the home stretch, but going back to the back stretch. I think I could kind of get a sense from the crowd that something special was happening. And I knew Wesley was going to tie up a little bit just because we all were going to tie up. It was a matter of, who's, I guess, going to die the least at that point. And once I saw the home stretch, it wasn't until about I crossed the line that I knew that I had won, that I was going to win. I thought that, Tuca was going to come up on me potentially in the last 20 meters and just have give me a heartbreaking loss, but fortunately that wasn't what happened.
Yeah, Tuca's a character, man.
Yeah.
The guy, he's still around, and I just watched him in the European Indoors this weekend.
Consistent.
And he came when he's fit. That last 50 is so scary.
Yeah.
What was interesting to me too was in Doha, you were going through a lot of things that were going on around you that you had no control over. Pete was there with you, but the Nike Oregon project was it was going to disintegrate. There was some problems with the coach, and I felt bad for you at the pressers because so many of the questions were about, Alberto. And how did you put that in perspective? Were you able to put that in perspective?
I think I really wasn't. And I think it was just a big shock to me because even after the race, I'm hearing all this stuff, and I still don't know what's going on. It wasn't even until I got back to America that I really understood truly what, transpired or what happened. I just woke up to a text message saying the news that, Bayless got when they were there. And Pete was my coach at the time, and he just sat all of us down, Alberto's athletes, his athletes, and said, listen, guys, we're here to do a job. We know this is obviously going to be a distraction, and this is going to, make you feel some type of way, but we're here to compete. And I think, Pete just kind of taking everybody in and being like, hey, we're here to we're not going to, let this mess up anything that, we're going to do. And I think that was a big, kind of point where we're just like, we're here to do a job, and we don't want that to kind of sidetrack us is what it was.
Yeah, you were there to race.
Yeah, we were there to race.
I got the announcement at 5 a.m. in the morning, the night before the morning before your race. And by the time I got up, I slept till about 11. It was everywhere. And I remember Sam Kendricks, the pole vaulter, after he won, being asked questions about it. He goes, I'm not a distance runner, And it's just, I understand the news thing, but I also understand, I felt that some of the joy that you could have experienced in the race was kind of taken away. And I was always curious about how you felt about that. And in 2020 was a crazy year because in February of 2020, right after the New Balance Indoor, I was getting ready to go to Europe. My son called and said, you're not going to Europe. I said, why? He says, there's this pandemic thing, and I've been reading about it.
This has been February that he told you this.
And it was a mess. And I remember talking to you. You were our first interview on Socialing the Distance in the spring, and you were just moving to Portland, I think.
And we're just getting out there. And
Yeah.
I think
In fact, your boxes were being delivered that day. You were kind of going, I don't know how I'm gonna. And it was just a lot of fun. But talk to us about 2020.
Yeah, I think 2020 was supposed to be the year that we were just going to build off of 2019 and go into the Olympic trials and go into the Olympics, with that great momentum we had going off of Doha. Obviously, COVID happened, and there was, way more important things that we had to worry about than track and field at the time. But, they just put a big halt on my career and just kind of the momentum we had. 'Cause we didn't know if the Olympics were happening for a while. We didn't know if track meets were going to be going on. And we didn't even know facilities were going to be open for a long time. They weren't. So it was just big time where no one really knew what the heck was going on. And through that, we still had trained hard and work out. And I was kind of transitioning into more 1500 meter work at the time. So we just kind of put everything on pause at that point. But it was definitely very interesting.
You were running these little bespoke meets. You ran your 335, which I was like, wow, where did that come from? And that was pretty cool, but you looked really relaxed. And then you went to Monaco, and that was one of the few Diamond League meets, and I heard they spent close to $1 million just on the COVID stuff to make sure you guys were all healthy. I mean, it really pushed their budget.
Oh, they were testing it. It seemed like they were doing everything right for, the knowledge, I guess, that we had at the time.
Yeah.
And every meet was different. If we were in Sweden to Monaco to Hungary, every protocol for each country just seemed a little different. So that was definitely interesting, just bouncing forth through the countries in there.
Did you have leg problems during 2020?
Did I have what problems?
Did you have any problems with your legs during 2020?
Once I got over to Europe, I got a PRP shot, I believe, right before I got over to Europe to fix. I don't know which leg it was on, but it was just something minor. But it ended up getting a little worse throughout the season, where we just ended up shutting it down after my last race in Sweden, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think I just never was able to quite get over that hump, and I might have started compensating too much. And you know how it works; it's just a domino effect of things not really going the right way. And it just led to one thing, which led to another, and then I've just kind of been in this whole spiral downhill of injuries, it seems like, since.
2021, take us through 2021.
2021, that was an interesting one too, because 2020 I still had a good season. I went to Europe and I won my races there, and I went to 2021 still being the favorite, breaking another American indoor record in 800. But I definitely could sense that my body wasn't cooperating me quite the way it should have. And I think throughout the months, I really didn't lose confidence still. I still had great confidence in my body and my abilities. But once the Olympic trials came around, my ankle was what it was, which gave out. And I just wasn't able to make a team, and that's on me. Part of being an athlete is being healthy. And I wasn't able to put the pieces together at the right time. And unfortunately, that, I guess, resulted in me missing yet another Olympic team. So that was very disappointing.
What did Coach say to you after that season?
I don't even remember. I never watched that race, actually.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to watch. I never watched that one. As much as I don't watch the good ones, like the Dohas and USA titles sometimes, the Olympic trials, I don't believe I've ever watched. And I don't even remember what he said. I remember I had to get drug tested afterwards, which was even more frustrating at that point, because I came, last in the final. But I'm not really sure, actually.
Did you have a surgery in 2021?
Yep. So they ended up putting a screw through my foot where that crack was in there. So that actually sealed up real nicely. And I haven't had too many issues with that besides the lingering, not chronic, but just light pain there. But
take us to 2022.
2022. So that's just this past year now. So 2022, I'm thinking redemption season. It's all going to piece together now.
Yeah.
And I ended up kind of switching more to the 400 for indoors, just for the purpose of...
I enjoyed it. That was fun to watch you do it, man.
It was cool. I was a wannabe sprinter for an indoor season, and I really did enjoy it. But I guess part of the reason for that was to show that I trust my body and that I'm willing to kind of, put it through some pressure. And we ran a fair amount of indoor races. I was able to make a U.S. team for the indoors 4x4, which was always been a goal of mine. Unfortunately, we didn't come out with a medal for that one. But I think that indoor season was definitely about kind of having fun and just trying something new. But unfortunately, once we led into outdoor, or even going from indoor to outdoor, I kind of get into that heel pain that I'm still dealing with to this day. Just kind of started to linger, and I'm still trying to get over that hump.
Now, have you had to have additional surgeries?
Yes, so I had a surgery in July, right after the World Championships. And then I had a second surgery kind of going off of that one just last month.
Okay.
So I've had a couple surgeries now, and I'm still, like I said, just trying to get over that hump now, and hopefully, I'm not trying to put a timeline on things because it's all about just getting healthy.
Yeah.
But if I can get running by April here full time and, be out there and getting consistent work in, then I'll feel pretty confident going into USA.
What are you able to do right now without pain?
I just got off crutches not too long ago from that last surgery. So crutches, which translated to a boot, which is, I'm out here walking and I think just fine by the looks of it. But I'll get in the bike or I'll get in the pool now that the stitches are on. We don't got to worry too much about getting that infected.
Yeah.
And I'll bike and I'll just do stuff like that. But as far as like elliptical, I don't put too much pressure on that because I can still kind of, irritate it a bit. And I'll also swim, bike, and swim, bike, and that's really about it actually. Just swimming and biking.
Okay. Okay. Will we see you as your health comes back to more 1500s?
That's a hard one because I have to kind of think it's like, is the distance translated into my injury? And that's one of those things that, keeps me up at night, thinking like, hindsight, should I have not done this? Should I have done this better? And, no one really knows for sure exactly what it is, but I just have so many questions about what my training should be when I come back that, I don't really know if it's going to be more based like a 4.8 or more like an 8.15, but I like the 15. I think it's fun from the few that I've run professionally, and if my body, cooperates with me, then I would definitely prefer running more. I'd be for running more 15s.
Are you a 400, 800 guy, or an 800, 1500 guy, or a guy trying to figure?
I think I'm a 400, 1500 meter guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. No,
I think I'm a
your
400.
classic middle distances.
Yeah, 400,
the ability
15.
to run from it. Yeah. I enjoyed watching you go indoors in the 400. That was fun last year.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and it's you get knocked around.
Oh yeah.
Is that the most physical races you've had?
It's definitely, you got to watch the moves that you make more so. In 800, if I make a move with 250 to go, there's a lot of moves that guys can't match. And that 400, if you make a move and you make it on the wrong point, those guys can match that speed. They're already running fast. And it's hard to make it, you can't really make a decisive move like that you do in the 8. So that was a learning curve for me. And I found out the hard way at Melrose Games when I got pushed out into lane 3 because of my own faults. And just a learning curve to it, but it's fun.
Describe for us cutting in an indoor 400.
Yeah, it's havoc. Luckily, I guess not luckily, but I don't get out quite fast enough that I'm really jostling for that first position. Yeah. But just seeing the chaos kind of transcend as it's going down. I'm more like a 400 meter runner indoors that just kind of winds people up and hopefully has enough track left to catch them at the end. But yeah, I need to work on my upper body strength if I'm gonna start doing more of those. Just kind of work on them elbows.
Did you like racing at the podium in Spokane?
I did actually, yeah. So I ran a 600 there, and I did the 400s there at USA Indoors last year, and it was definitely an interesting little city to have it in. But it was cool, and they brought out a lot of fans. And
no, I think they did a nice job with it. I wish, my biggest beef with USATF is, guys, you got to promote stuff a little bit more. We got to, I want to fill the 2,500 people to fill a place up. I mean, I remember the 2019 in Ocean Breeze. There was an okay crowd there, but it was.
That was a fun meet too that they had out there. They had a great venue to do it in.
Yeah, I thought that was a good venue. Yeah. I really liked the track at New Balance this year. I think that's a classy facility. I like the windows around it because it brings sunlight in, and the track seems pretty quick. So we hope to see you on there.
I'd love to be out there. Yeah.
So what are your goals for 2023?
2023 is kind of the same thing I said in 2022, where it's like I need to focus on my health. I need to make this comeback, and I can't quite put a timeline on that. Health's going to take whatever it's going to take, and I think that's the difference between 2023 me and 2022 me is that 2023 me is going to do whatever it takes right now to get healthy. Outside of track and field, I want to wake up and get out of my bed, and I'm not going to be the same 18-year-old kid that can just jump in, be all happy and jolly, and have my toes as soon as I get out. But I don't want to be limping out of bed and having these pains that I feel like I shouldn't be having in my mid-20s. I just want to get back to getting healthy and really just enjoying it, because there comes a point where you just wake up every day and you go through runs and they're going to be painful and you just start to not like it. I don't want to grow to not like it. I want to grow to enjoy it some more.
Well, Donavan Brazier, thank you very much. It was a great interview with you.
Thank you so much.
This is Larry Eater with RunBlogRun. We've got Donavan Brazier, the 2019 World Champion, on his way back in 2023.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.